those. If anyone has any questions throughout my presentation, please do not hesitate. Just put your hand up. I love questions. I love involvement for people, so please keep them coming. I love following a controversial talk with one that may be less controversial. How many people here use fish oils or actually have fish oils or prescribe fish oils, do anything with fish oils? Yep, it's almost everybody. It's fantastic, isn't it? A wonderful supplement to talk about, because this is an agent that everyone really needs. I believe personally that there shouldn't be too many people that aren't taking this. I take this personally, and I'm sure everyone else takes fish oils as well, as hands just show there. So look, today we're going to be talking, I'm not going to labour you with boredom because you're very intelligent people. I know a lot of you personally. I'm not going to tell you how good fish oils reduce prostaglandin E2 and all this sort of stuff. That stuff we're going to leave behind. We're going to make that assumption that you know that. You know about inflammation, you know how fish oils are. We're going to take it to the next level and look what fish oils do biochemically in the body, particularly the brain, and how they can work. We're going to be talking about how they can actually work as a COX-2 inhibitor, how they work in a similar mechanism in the brain to lithium, how they modulate second messages such as protein kinase C, and how they will not help people with the apolipoprotein E4 gene. We're going to be talking about all that in the next 20 minutes. But hurry. All right, so we're going to be talking about fish oils, of course, and I'm going to be talking about fish oil capsules because not everyone here eats fish. I love fish. I eat as much as I can. I still take 4 grams of fish oil a day. Why not? I think it's great. The predominant fat we're going to be talking about today is docosahexaenoic acid, or DHA, which is one of the 2 major fats in fish oils, EPA, DHA. DHA is pretty much the one that really happens in the brain. It's the one that is really functional in the brain. In fact, the 2006 study we're going to talk about in a sec has actually pinpointed that that is the only functional fat in the brain, which I found very interesting. And I didn't believe to start with until I read more of the data here. All the studies here actually have all the references at the bottom there, and if you want my presentation, just email me. I'll give you my email address later. I'll just email it to you. I don't know if I'm supposed to or not, but I believe in sharing the information because, this is all published in the literature, as you can see there. This is from June 2008. So please, these are almost all of these are direct quotes from the studies. I don't want to dumb them down or make them, I don't want to change them. I want to give you the exact facts. DHA in this particular study shows that it is particularly good for memory. That's what it really, the parts of the brain that are involved in memory, DHA is found in higher concentrations. So we're going to be talking about memory, we're going to be talking about Alzheimer's, all sorts of things. Major role in the brain, it accounts for 1/3 of all fatty acids in the brain, DHA. That little simple molecule of stuff we take actually is 2/3 of your brain, which is a lot of brain oil. You know what I mean? It's a lot of fat. And the amount you need daily is very, very minimal. The dosage that in the studies that are found to be functional significance is 180 milligrams. In most capsules you can get that. Even the cheapo ones down at, they've got 120 milligrams in each capsule. So you really don't need a lot of this stuff. That's what I mean. It's very, very cheap stuff and absolutely wonderful. Love it. This is what it does in the brain. I'm not going to go through all the points here, but this is a little bit of a summary of how it works in the brain. It's not just making up the cell membrane, which is what I was taught, 10, 15 years ago. It's more than that now. It does all sorts of things. Look at this, a regulator of gene expression. I mean, you can regulate your gene expression by taking fish oil or eating good quality deep sea cold water fish. More about that later. So from an evolutionary point of view, we have been consuming fish oils for many, many years, and as the studies will show in a sec, it has actually been involved in our evolution, and it's been responsible for our brain sizes, DHA. Of course, they've added a new section onto this particular, you've all seen the new one's that, which you can kind of see why it's that. It seems to be the way things are going. So look, from an evolutionary point of view, DHA really is, been involved in making our brains a lot larger. Of course, we've eaten, fish and shellfish and all that sort of stuff. It's been essential in our diet for many years. This is not a new to nature molecule like a new drug or something. This is something that's been around, for a very, very long time. 3 to 5 million years we've been on the earth for and we've been consuming those sorts of EPA and DHA for all that time. Remember, they're found in land animals as well. It's not just out of the ocean. All right, so we would with evolution, our brains grew bigger because of, this step towards eating more of these foods, and that's what made our brain as functional as it is today, and it's probably responsible for us being the number one persons and species on the earth because of the size of our brains. Some are smaller than others, some are larger, but generally much bigger. So, from a more of a biochemical point of view and from our birthing point of view, we're given oils, of course, via the breast, and even pre-birth, of course, oils are fed into the brain, and so it's very important that these levels are kept high, throughout the lifestyle. So, the great news is that fish oils can be given to infants with perfect safety, because it's the first thing they're fed from their mum that has EPA and DHA. So, if you're not into taking capsules, and you don't want to catch fish like that, which is one of my fishing shots. That's my mate Matthew. I caught, which one is it? It's the smaller of the two. The one to his left. I wish I'd say I caught the bigger one, but that's right near my place. And if you want to go out fishing like that and get those sort of fish, terrific. It's hard work. It took us all night to get those 2 damn fish, but it's great fun. But if you can't be bothered, you can take fish oils. Okay? I prefer to get more things out of food and use supplements for supplementing a healthy diet. I don't call them replacements. They're called supplements for a reason. I believe they supplement a healthy diet. And I think that's what we should be aiming for with all our nutrients. Eat as best you can, then supplement your diet. All right. Now, today's omega-3 and 6 ratio I'm going to touch on. As you know, we're probably eating too much omega-6 oils because we're eating a lot of vegetable oils, which I think are very, very dangerous for us. I know they've got the tick from the Heart Foundation, we've got the omega-6, the margarines and all this sort of stuff. I don't believe they're very healthy at all. They're certainly precursors to the pro-inflammatory prostaglandins of the 2 series, leukotriene B4 and B2. By the way, with my students, and I teach them the inflammatory cascade, if for exams, I say to them that basically the even numbers, prostaglandin 1, 3, leukotriene B3, 5, are all anti-inflammatory, and the odd numbers are anti-inflammatory, the even numbers are pro-inflammatory. They seem to pass on that. There's a few exceptions, I won't go into them. So if I talk about leukotriene B4, is that inflammatory? It is, isn't it? Because it's an even number. Prostaglandin E2. What about prostaglandin E3? Anti-inflammatory. So that's a good way to remember it anyway. See, helps being a principal of a college. You can convey the information across. So it's something, when I'm talking about that in the next few minutes, if I say, oh yeah, it down-regulates leukotriene B4, you'll know that's a pro-inflammatory agent. All right, so let's talk about what it actually does in the body. And you may know that fish oils are good for your brain. And you may also, some of you may know that fish oils are very good for disorders of the brain, such as depression. Well, there's lots of studies on this, and the main reason it's very good for depression is that inflammation is actually associated with depression and dementia and a few other mental disorders. Were you aware of that? That inflammation actually is associated with depression. You might have heard Robert allude to the Indocid study, the 100 to 150 milligram 1993 study, where they gave them Indocid, which is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. It's COX-1 and COX-2 inhibitor, by the way, and that actually is an agent that reduces Alzheimer's, just like aspirin. And that shows that Alzheimer's has an inflammatory component, which was very interesting, but depression does as well. Now, it's not the inflammation, and actually, from your own intuition, you should know that depression is an inflammatory condition. When you get very sick and you've got a cold and flu and you're lying near fever, you're in a pro-inflammatory state because your immune system is hyperactive. That's inflammation, an immune system that's hyperactive. How do you feel? Great? Upbeat? Wanting to go to the beach? No, you feel depressed.